So here's the next part of our discussion.
Refusal to have an abortion, even though my legs were in the stirrups and they were getting ready to put me to sleep. I'm like, no, I choose you instead. You know, living in a car and every single day being like, I could just go have a free abortion. I could just go to Planned Parenthood. And again, like, I am pro-choice, but that was not my choice. And so for him to understand, like, I had that opportunity and yet I still chose him. I chose him even though we almost froze to death. I chose him even though I was hungry. I chose him even though I couldn't take a shower every single day. I chose him even though people were pointing their fingers at me and calling me a whore. I chose him. I chose him. I chose him. And even by placing him in the arms of another woman and giving her that opportunity to love him and be his mother, I still chose him in that process.
Yeah.
And so I think, he's told me, like, thank you, because it healed a lot of his feelings of his primal wound, right? I mean, he still has a long way to go because I think it's there on some level always. And we have to readdress it and give love to that wound and readdress it and give more love to that wound over and over and over again. It's like, it's never a finish line.
No.
But there is a start line. And so for anyone who's watching this, who is a birth mother or who's been adopted, or like me, have the unique situation of being both, I just want to say, like, start healing somewhere. Like, you have to start somewhere and healing that wound.
And that was really deep, Allison. Thank you so much for sharing. That was really powerful. There's so many other things that go through our mind. I just told my parents, I don't know, it was like a year ago or something. I told them, I said, for 18 years, I wondered if I was going to be returned, meaning returned back to the orphanage. And they looked at me, why didn't you say anything? Like, I mean, I just told them I'm in my late 40s. And they're like, really? I said, yeah. I was always in the back of my mind that I'm getting returned, right? So I always walked that fine line, all of it. And you talked about something really important, Allison. You're talking about, are we good enough? Are we? That is something that plagues, when I say plagues adoptees, I hear it all the time when I sit down at dinner and saw adoptees. Because of those feelings are very real. Am I good enough? What did I do? What did I do wrong? And it stays through your entire life. And it doesn't, and like I said, the adoption we need adoptees. We need adoptions for all the children in the world. But what does need to be recognized is our emotions and who we are. And that our voice matters. One of the most unkind, I could give you my top 10 list, and I put it in my book, top 10 things like not to say to an adoptee. Number one, I get this all the time, they tilt the head. You should be so lucky that you were adopted. I didn't have any choice over whether or not I was adopted. You were rescued and you were saved. And it's really beautiful because my mom she turns to them and goes, she saved us. She rescued us. And that's how, because she knows it bothers me, right? The amount of, we're told that we should be grateful over and over and over again. And we didn't have any control over it. I mean, Jonathan, I could drop you the 10 things that never should be said to adoptees, ever.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that they're in your book, yeah? So when you share, so the point of us all doing this is that I'm going to edit this down into little 5-minute segments because there's so much powerful stuff in a sentence and people have got very short attention spans. But before you ladies go, as I know you have to, obviously the striking down of Roe v. Wade. So I would be, from an American perspective, pro-choice. And I find it. Come back for the next part of this discussion.